You have the Big 12 championship meet this week. How are you feeling about your team coming into it?
I think we're in a really good spot on the men's side, especially. I think we're probably not the favorite right now. Maybe we're the second or third best team going into the conference championships, but we were that way last year, and we pulled out a big win. And I think we got some guys that are dialed in and like that feeling from last year. And last year we had Kiribel Rasa, who was put on the big S on his chest and became Superman for us. And I think we got some other guys that want to have that same opportunity. And you talked to one of Chad Noel, who he really wants to contribute in a big way, and he's been great for us this year. He's run really well on the mile, running our qualifying DMR, and good guy to follow. And then you got Teeters in the sprints, and John and Nick Miller in the throws. We got three, I think, real veteran leaders that have the ability to win titles, and they're great guys to follow.
Do you feel better about this year's team than you did going in with last year's team?
This year I think we're a little further out from the team I would expect to be the favorite, Texas. Last year I thought we were a little closer to them, and didn't need quite as many major performances to get over that hurdle and get into the win. As it turns out, it was closer than I thought it was going to be last year. I thought we had a little more cushion than we ended up with. This year we're probably a little further behind, but I like the attitude, and I like having a team that has now experienced a conference championship, and they believe we can win. Last year we won. I'm not sure we believed we could going in, and I think that helps a lot. Once you've won, it kind of changes your mindset and kind of raises the bar of expectation, and we're in a good place that way.
What do you think is your guys' biggest key to winning this meet?
Well, we got to have everything go right. Everybody who's supposed to make a final has to make a final. People that are supposed to score or they're maybe ranked third in the conference got to finish second. The guy who's finished second in the conference has got to win. And we got to have some people come through and do things that are unexpected. And that happened last year, and we got to do the same thing this year. At the same time, guys that are expected to win have got to win. And I think we've got, luckily, the guys we've got who are expected to win are veterans and are experienced and know how to get it done on big days.
You've mentioned in the past kind of this team's like aggression going into every race. They're going really hard.
Yeah.
Do you expect to see more of that this week?
Yeah, I really like the competitive attitude this team has, and it's been a change for the good in our program, where they do a really good job of not limiting themselves, not worrying about who they're competing against and what the marks or the differentials might be. They're going after the win, or they're going after big places every time they step on the track. And men and women, actually, we've done a really good job of that this year, and it's kind of a contagious attitude. And I think, again, going back to last year, I think maybe Kiribel helped set the tone that way of put the weight on my back and I'm gonna get it done. And I think we've got a bunch of guys and women who are thinking that way now. So, yeah, I think that attitude has been a big part of why we've been successful this year.
And then you mentioned those three guys. There's a lot of star power on this team.
Mm-hmm.
How much of an impact can those stars have on the team standings at the Big 12?
Well, Nick can score us 10 points that he's scored, pretty consistently since he's been here. He only does one event. He's a very specialized athlete, and he does it very well. So he can have an impact, and he's kind of a rock and an anchor and points we know we're going to get, we count on, and we depend on. And then the other two guys can run multiple events and maybe score a little more than one win. Maybe they get 2 seconds or whatever they can come up with. Going back, I think that those other two guys can score in multiple events and can kind of toe the line and get a lot done that you can't in one event. So the three of them, I think their attitude, their competitiveness, and for all three of them, they're willing to say, hey, let me do what I think I can do, helps our entire program.
And then on the women's side, maybe there's not the same star power, but there's a lot of really good athletes.
We got some star power on that women's team. I'm telling you, we might not have the depth, we might not have the strength in all the event areas like we do on the men's team, but we're coming. And that young group of middle distance runners right now is running lights out. And I got to, I guess, point out Kayla Edwards, who's a sophomore and was third at the national championships last year. I think she's ready to win her first Big 12 title. I think Jenny Solis, a freshman from Colorado, has been absolutely fantastic for us this year. It's way ahead of expectation and what we thought when we signed her, and maybe even what she thought when the season started. And she's someone who's looking at a possibly to win a conference championships. Victoria Sadakina is a returning Big 12 champion, indoors and outdoors. She's not quite on her game where she was this time last year, but she's a competitor, and she's starting to kind of ramp up that. I can feel the edginess coming back to her attitude as we kind of approach this weekend. Clara Nichols, Savannah Camacho, Natalia Palushina is going to be back in uniform for the first time in almost 2 years for us. I think Ingeborg Loveness is someone who's been hurt and coming off injury and is coming into form very quickly. I think she's someone that can contend. Our women's distance medley relay, I think they can contend for the conference title. So we got some places to get some things done. We just don't have quite as much depth and diversity as we've got on the men's team.
Excellent. And then is there any aspect of, this is the last time we go out before NCAAs, is there anything you want to work on specifically, or is it just let's win the Big 12?
I think at this meet it's just let's go win races. Let's win our events. Let's go out there and be as competitive as we possibly can, and let the points fall where they may. But if every athlete goes out there and approaches, his or her event as I'm going to do the best I can do. I'm going to fight and scrap and tooth and nail for every single place I can get. We're going to be okay. And if you approach all your competitions that way, the nationals and the qualifiers and those things, they'll take care of themselves.